Families of wealth struggle to do the right thing for their families.
Sylvie came to us, and the initial call, she was kind of concerned about wanting to come to an environment where she could talk privately, and it was just my gut sense to invite her into our home rather than to meet her in an office.
We are careful to not let materialism become a focus for us and our children, and for me as the granddaughter of this man that I'm proud of, I want my children to understand that as well. I want them to understand that they need to work hard. But having said that, because we talk a lot about work, we don't talk very well about money.
So Sylvie's a great example of the kinds of families we work with, because usually we start meeting with one or two people who are more ready to move forward. The important part when I think about moving them forward is to find some strength in something that would attract the family to be able to spend a small period of time, something that creatively would get them involved.
We talk about what we call the dragons of jealousy, envy, greed, and power struggles. We already know people feel this way. However, decisions based on these feelings cause conflict.
Part of what we're here to talk about is really at some point families, if they're going to try and win against each other, not so good, right? The top problems that we hear with families, and it comes up usually at emotionally charged times, are issues about fairness, who gets what. There are concerns about the next generation and how they're going to handle the responsibilities that go along with wealth and whether they're going to continue to lead purposeful lives. And the tendency that when money issues come up, for there to be conflict within the family.
There's always that stumbling block and that roadblock, and for each family it's different.
Even in families that can go vacationing and skiing and hang out together, sometimes it's very surprising that when the topic's about what to do with money, who's doing what, that all of a sudden the jealousy issues come up, feelings of envy come up, who gets what role in the family becomes very significant.
People get stuck. They either are stuck by fear or they're stuck because they don't believe there's another alternative. And so what we want to do is say to the family, let's focus on what you're doing right. Let's focus on what's working.
A lot of time gets focused on the moving parts that have to do with transferring wealth, that have to do with succession of business, with some of the more technical sides, business-oriented sides of the family. And so when people come to us, there's the beginning of an awareness that there's a human side that they want to pay attention to.
Most families get together for dinner or holidays, and everyone's talking and laughing. Their judgments of each other remain silent. What we want is for families to say, what's good in our family? And how can we build on it?
We're all about creating an experience.
We want to get to know who you all are better. So what we did is we created these questions. And so I don't know who would be like the first person would volunteer.
Kiki? I think Kiki should pick the card. It's very hard for families to have conversations that just dig a little bit deeper. So the cards, for example, one of the cards asks, if you're blindfolded for a day, who in the family would you use to guide you around? And it's just a cute, fun way to get people talking. And later on, it may lead to who's going to be trustee, how do you make those kinds of decisions. But first, it's just a fun way to engage a family. So the idea of inheriting wisdom really starts with the idea that what most people spend their time on is only the inheriting portion. But you ask families what really matters, they bring up human concerns. That is where the power lies, because you can build cohesion within a family.
We guide the family through a process so that they're making those decisions that are in sync with who they are and who their family is and where they want to go. We help build consensus, supporting the objectives of the family over time.
We help families negotiate conflict, indecisiveness, and emotional turmoil that interfere with good decision making.
Bridging the gap between the legal, financial, and emotional aspects of wealth transfer, building intergenerational bonds, and preparing future generations.
This is really about making successful families more successful.
Oh, I love what I do for a living because I think it makes a difference. Almost everybody who, when we started doing focus groups, has gone through it. It's changed something in their life.
Seeing a family go from struggling a little bit, having some concerns and some issues even though they're close, and finding out the potential they can all do, of what all they can do together, is probably one of the most exciting, it is the most exciting thing I've done in my life.